מועדים לשמחה, חגים זמנים לששון. Today is Chol HaMoed of Pesach. Thursday we're learning חוק לישראל for פרשת Kedoshim for Thursday. צריך לכתוב לעשות חסד ואמת כעניין שנאמר בחסד ואמת יכופר עוון ובמילת השם סור מרע. A person who is doing teshuvah should pursue acts of kindness and truth. Just like the Pasuk says, by kindness and truth, sin is atoned, and by fear of Hashem, people will turn away from evil. Now pay attention to the secret of this Pasuk. כי האומנם אם החוטא לא שב אל השם, לא יתכפר עוונו בפועל החסד. If a person who's a sinner has not returned to Hashem, he won't be atoned by just the performance of acts of kindness alone. Like it says, אשר לא יישא עני ולא ייקח שוחד. ופירשו זיכרונם לברכה, לא ייקח שוחד מצווה למכור ולהעביר על העוונות. Chachamim explained that Hashem will not take a bribe of a commandment to forgive and ignore the sins. So in other words, the person should not think just because he did an act of kindness or he did a mitzvah, that's it, he's forgiven for the averah. He has to do teshuvah. ועוד אמרו, כל האומר הקדוש ברוך הוא ותרן, הוא יוותרו חייו. And they said that a person who says that Hashem is lax with judgment, be lax with his own life. אבל, you know, what happens is that Kadosh Baruch Hu ma'arich apayim. Kadosh Baruch Hu is patient, he's tolerant, he gives us time. Ve'im lo yishma, yimad, im lo yishma, yimad pe'ulatam el hekam. And if they don't listen, they don't do teshuvah, then he will give them according to their actions. לכן זה שאמר שלמה המלך עליו השלום בחסד ואמת יכופר עוון על בעל התשובה דיבר. What did Shlomo HaMelech when he said, with kindness and truth, sin will be atoned? He's speaking about a person who does teshuvah, who is repentant. כי יש עבירות, because there are עבירות, שהתשובה ויום הכיפורים תולים ואיסורים ממרקים. There are certain types of עבירות that the teshuvah in Yom HaKippurim put them in suspense, they suspend the sin, ve'yisurim memarkin. And the yisurim, sort of like the difficulties, the suffering of a person, purge that and clean those averot. Ve'ine ha'chesed, yagen be'ad ha'choteh ve'yishmor alav min ha'yisurim. But acts of kindness protect the sinner and guards him from suffering. V'shagam hatzel yatzil min ha'mavet. And also acts of kindness, they save a person from death, כמו שכתוב, like the Pasuk says, וצדקה תציל ממוות. Charity saves from death. Just like to say a word or two about this idea of gemilut chasadim. In Pesach, when we read Halachma Anya, the first paragraph in the Haggadah, that's composed of 3 verses. The first verse speaks about the bread of affliction, which is symbolic of the exile of Egypt, and for a matter of fact, any exile. The third verse speaks of the final redemption. Shana Haba, next year, free people in Yerushalayim with the rebuilding of Bet HaMikdash. The middle verse speaks about inviting anyone who's hungry, anyone who would like to join us in the meal and come celebrate Pesach. So if the first verse speaks about the exile and the third verse speaks about the redemption, the middle verse gives us the recipe, the way to get to the redemption is through doing acts of chesed, acts of kindness. And this is so much important to understand, because in the Gemara that speaks about the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, speaks about the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, about a person who had a party and an uninvited guest came who was not a friend of his. He was somebody that he didn't get along with. And he kicked him out of the party forcefully. And that started a chain of events that brought about the destruction of Bet HaMikdash. That kind of sinat chinam, that kind of conflict, that kind of lack of kindness towards one another is what brought about the exile. And what will bring about the redemption is acts of chesed, is acts of kindness, just like we say in the first paragraph of the Haggadah. Anyone to please come and join. We invite even people who may not know, to invite them to join us in the meal as representative of an example of chesed, of kindness. ועוד יש עוון, והוא עוון חילול השם, שהתשובה וייסורים תוריד מיתה ממרקת. There is a very grave sin, which is the sin of desecrating the name of God through the way that a person acts. If a person is obviously Jewish or obviously an observant person, and he acts in a way that is improper, that brings chaz v'shalom, it's very serious avera, desecrating the name of Hashem. In such a case, teshuvah, yisurin, which is sufferings, suspend the sin, umita memareket, and only death purges away that sin. Just like the pasuk says, if this sin will be atoned for you until you die. That's a pasuk in Yeshayahu. When a person strives to support the hand of truth, when a person strengthens the hands of the people of truth and raises their heads, helps to support all the idea of truth. And he brings down the advocates of falsehood to bring them low all the way until the dust. In other words, when he supports truth and disapproves of untruths, this is the way of sanctifying God's name. And this brings about beauty and glory to the belief in Hashem and His service in the world. When a person adds action to sanctify the name of Hashem and to encourage and to uphold truth, then he will be forgiven from the avera of Chilul Hashem, of desecrating God's name. So midah, he said desecrated, now he's going to do things to be mekadesh Shem Hashem. אם התשובה בסומו האמת לעומת אשמת החילול, מידת תשובתו כנגד מידת משובתו, זה ביאור בחסד ואמת יכופר עוון. So he says here, when a person upholds truth and does Kiddush Hashem as to make up for the Chilul Hashem, and this will be the explanation of chesed ve'emet yichupar avon, by kindness, acts of kindness, and truth, and upholding truth, and doing Kiddush Hashem, and with that the sins are atoned. This was the Musar for today, Thursday for Parashat Kedoshim. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen.